Check out these two eggplants growing in these two small raised garden beds. These plants are both 6 months old, can you believe it? But have a guess which one of these two I planted with a whole heap of orange peel and orange citrus waste in the base. Can you guess? G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the planting of both of these, show you exactly what I did with this experiment. At the end of it, I'm also going to pull this beautiful plant up for the sake of experimentation, and we will see what happened to all those orange peels that were positioned right underneath this plant. I think I've given it away which one was which. Let's get into it. I started it off preparing this one here on your left. Basically, I had to dig a hole for the waste to go in, and I just used normal orange peel waste that we had gotten from our own oranges produced from our own trees. I didn't break down the oranges or anything like that. They were just normal orange peels, most of them just cut in half. There might have been a few other things in there, like a few eggshells or whatever, but basically it was mostly orange peel waste. So I removed some of the soil and I tipped all that orange waste into that hole, leaving about 6 inches or so of space, because you want that. You don't want to be planting or sowing seeds directly on top of your waste. You need a little bit of a buffer. Planting or sowing veggies directly over organic garden waste is a safe thing to do, but the only thing you do have to be a little bit careful of is ensuring that you're not sowing seeds or transplanting plants directly into decaying matter. That's why you do leave at least 3 to 4, maybe 6 inches of soil between the plant's roots and the decaying matter. In the case of these seedlings, by the time they germinated and started putting their roots down, would have been about a month or so. By then, the orange peels would be well and truly underway, mixing with the existing soil, getting eaten by worms and microbes, and then the plant is also on its own journey, well and truly established, and can accept that some of the roots will touch this decaying matter without harming itself or having any problems. Now let me be really clear, this wasn't an experiment of just growing eggplant on kitchen waste. When I prepared the soil to put back into this garden bed, and also this one, I did mix it with a little bit of extra organic fertilizer and some ocean to earth made from fish waste. It's like a compost. In fact, that's exactly what it is. The thought behind that was you still want to give your seedlings and your plants a good boost to start them off, because that's so important for growing veggies, is making sure your plants start off well. So I sowed a lot of this long eggplant variety into this one garden bed here, knowing that in a few weeks' time I would be transplanting them around the garden, and one extra into this one here that doesn't have any orange waste in it at all. But this one here did have a very similar mix to this bed. Once the seedlings were about 4 inches high, I then separated them. I left one of them to grow on in this bed. I transplanted another one in this one here. At the time of transplanting, I gave both of these beds a little bit of organic fertilizer. In my garden, I prefer to use organic fertilizers that's made from natural organic matter, or naturally sourced fertilizers with organic and inorganic materials in it, because I just think it's better for my garden. Because this plant here was remaining in the soil and I actually transplanted the other one to this spot, the one with the orange waste underneath it didn't get disturbed. But this one here obviously was transplanted, so it was going to take some time to catch up. What I did was I ended up giving, at the time of transplanting this plant here, quite a bit more extra fertilizer. And then over the next 5 months, I just let the plants grow on against each other, and I just took a few notes, and you can see for yourself really the results. But look how one is growing much better than the other one. This one here on my right is growing super well. It doesn't even need to be staked. It's got a strong stem, it's producing fruit, and this is its second coming. It has already produced a lot of fruit, and now it's fruiting again at the end of the season. This one here, well, it's struggling a bit, but it still looks fairly healthy. Coincidentally, I was reading this article, a science article about a study that was done in Costa Rica where a orange juice company dumped, I think it was 12,000 tons of orange peel waste in a national park. Just dumped it on top, didn't bury it. It was astonishing how years later scientists came back to the site and they could see how much extra the forest had grew back in that area compared to its adjacent area. The trees grew back much stronger and healthier and greener. The forest was more dense. This is something I've known for a long time because I just saw my grandparents burying things in the garden, burying their kitchen scraps rather than putting it in the bin, because they knew the value of it, and they came from a generation where you did not waste any organic matter. If you couldn't eat it, you gave it to the hens, you gave it to the pigs, or you buried it in the veggie garden or even your ornamental garden to make sure you made every scrap of food and organic waste useful. And all these types of studies and this anecdotal experiment of mine just keeps showing me how good kitchen waste really is. I guess what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to this experiment, burying fruit underneath a fruiting plant like this, well, the evidence is irrefutable, isn't it? And in case you're wondering, the other seedlings that I transplanted out into this raised garden bed here, they're doing well too. You've got some Egyptian spinach scattered throughout that came up on its own, and I just left it. But yeah, you can see that the plants are good and healthy. Maybe some just as good. Why maybe would that be? Well, I have given it similar amounts of fertilizer. Plus, I have buried things in this garden bed just recently as well, over the last 8 to 12 months. And that organic matter that's been buried in here, I think it was more seafood waste than anything, all that organic matter will feed plants like this for season after season. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sadly remove this plant. It's for science, and I will harvest these eggplants first so that we can eat them tonight for dinner, and then we'll have a look and we'll see how did those orange peels and kitchen waste go underneath this plant. There we go. Beautiful. Sorry mate, I know, not good of me to do this, but we've had a lot of eggplant this season, so it's not that bad. Do I just pull the thing up? Oh, it's nice and strong. Look at that. Lovely root ball, very healthy looking. Would have went straight into those oranges. Well, if you can see something in here, you got better eyes than I do. Well, I can't even show you a trace of any orange peel. I thought I might find some, just a little bit, but yeah, it's typical though. When I'm digging through the garden, I can't remember everywhere that I've buried things. I rarely come across any remains or any sign that things were buried in the garden. It just gets disintegrated into the soil, and that just, like what I said at the beginning, it just keeps adding to your soil structure. It adds nutrients to your soil. It adds minerals and micronutrients and trace elements. It feeds the microbes and your small animals, and it creates a fantastic ecosystem that is symbiotic to your plant, helping it grow better, as demonstrated. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big regenerative orange peel thumbs up, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.